So where we are now is what we call our South Valpo sub. It's a new substation that is part of our modernization program that's going to feed the southern part of the Valpo area and Porter County, as well as a new expansion that's going on at Pratt Industries up the road, which is coming online next year, and this substation is going to be one of the primary feeds for their industrial load up there as well. There's quite a bit of additional work going on, so what you don't see at just the footprint of this substation is also we have feeder lines coming into this sub. We have new communication cable that's being strung that will come in here to help the relaying. But then beyond where we're standing today, we also have on the electric side a number of other projects going on at other substations that, to modernize them, both from a protection scheme standpoint, new transformers, some new breakers and switches and those type of things that are replacing aged equipment. We have a large underground cable replacement program going on. We've already replaced this year close to 40,000 feet of buried cable. That is some old, unjacketed, mostly 70s vintage cable that was installed that has a history of fault issues on those cables. So we're going back and replacing those as part of this modernization program. We have a pole replacement program. So a lot of these poles are well beyond their expected life. So we're going back through and based on some of our what we call worst circuit analysis, so looking at circuits that have the most issues and the most age, we're going back and replacing a number of poles as well. And then there are a series of small projects going on around the system for things that help with reliability, like switches and some automation projects and things like that will help us when you have outages to automate the system as far as being able to switch to different circuits and feed people from other directions if we're able to. It prevents us from having to have an extended outage and having to send a lineman out to check on the problem and fix it in order to get people back on. We can have people back on while they're fixing the original problem. So a number of projects like that on the electric side. We're constantly looking at okay, what equipment is out there that is either reaching end of life. We have maintenance records that show that we're starting to see issues with it, or some of it is just due to when we start to see failures. And when we start to see failures and you do some analysis around those particular pieces of equipment or those areas or sections of the system, you start to formulate this plan around where the issues are. Well, as we started looking at the age of our equipment, a lot of this stuff was built after World War II. It was put in beginning in the late 40s up through the late 60s and early 70s. And so for equipment that has 20 to maybe 50-year expected life, a lot of this equipment, we've kind of got the good out of it. It's through its expected life and then some. And so we really needed a mechanism and an avenue to go through and say, how can we modernize the system, increase reliability, reduce risk to the customers, while at the same time levelizing the cost? So do it at a point where it's all not falling down around you, and you have to do it all in 1 year, and there's a big cost impact to the customer. So it was really our risk analysis around the system and the age of the infrastructure, and making sure that we're bringing the electric system here at NIPSCO into the modern century. It's about $1.2 billion over 7 years, and that's an all-in cost, and it's really based on our best estimate of all those improvements that I mentioned earlier. We've done some large projects on the environmental side at some of our power plants, like down at Schaefer and up at Michigan City with our FGD program that you folks are familiar with. But from an overall program scale, this is the largest one, at least that I'm familiar with, in their recent past.